USC normally wears maroon, as their libero is wearing right now, or white. And they only break out the blacks every now and then, and this is the first year that they've done that. And Mick Haley says this is a special group, so sometimes they have to wear the special jerseys. April Ross gets turned around the first time. Obviously, a quick start is very important for UCLA.
Well, and Coach Banikowski was talking about the importance of Sierra Wright. You see her right there, middle blocker, a sophomore, needs to put up big numbers and take some of the pressure offensively.
That was Lauren Fendrick, the lone active senior still on the UCLA roster with the serve. UCLA goes outside, Brittany Ringel. Nice dig by SC. It was Nicole Davis. Nicole Davis, probably the best back row player for USC. Again to Ringel. Goes down the line this time and covered nicely by April Ross on the roll. Alicia Robinson tips into the double block. Kept alive and blocked again by Robinson. A good athlete, very active at the tape.
Very aggressive. I've never even actually seen her tip a ball. That must be something new. One of the things Coach Haley was talking about working into her offense is just developing some shots, knowing when to swing, knowing when just to keep the ball in play.
Back set as UCLA runs a little slide to Sierra Wright. And a chance now for USC. Again to Robinson. No tip on that one. Goes off the high hands and a point for SC.
We talked earlier just about the balanced attack of USC. It's so tough to defend against them because you never know who's going to get the ball.
Once again, good passing by UCLA, a little sloppy, and SC goes right back to Alicia Robinson again. That's on the double block, turns her back. Now they go to April Ross, tipped down the line and covered by UCLA. Back set Bruins go to Bryn Murphy. Murphy just a sophomore. A lot of underclassmen on the UCLA roster. Olsovsky looking for a bounce off the tape and wide, and so it's 2-2.
You know, this is looking a little bit out of whack here for Olsovsky. Usually she's very quick and explosive. I think that she got underneath the ball and left too early.
Olsovsky, a good hitter, hits .450 in her best matches, but hitting here in that first time, Olsovsky now goes back to the service line. In fact, Olsovsky hit .450 and had 12 kills in the win over Oregon. It was funny when I was talking with Mick Haley before the match. I said, you know, how are things going with this team right now? You know, only 3 matches left in the regular season, and you're reading the Pac-10. He said, actually, we're trying some new things right now. And that's because I guess he's going to figure he's going to need those in the tournament.
Exactly. He's trying to find some wild cards. He knows that all the teams have been scouting them all season. Maybe USC could be considered predictable. However, I don't think they could be. But, you know, coaches have started to figure out if there are any weaknesses in USC's lineup.
Mick Haley, of course, not only the coach at Texas and now at USC, but also coached the U.S. Olympic team in Sydney. Coached them to a 4th place finish in the Olympics. Haley Jorgensborg now in the serve for UCLA, the freshman. That's Jorgensborg chasing down that pass right there and goes to Brittany Ringel on the outside. Robinson didn't get much on that attempt. Ross was right there on the tip in the middle by Emily Adams, who goes 6'5" for USC. Adams just dominating that middle. They fake to Adams, they go to Robinson, who had a tip cross court and goes through the hands of Heather Cullen. Alicia Robinson, a great athlete, good lineage. Her dad, of course, Truck Robinson, who played for the Phoenix Suns. Those great teams.
That's such a great name.
Truck Robinson? Yeah. And he was. Probably still is. Still living in Phoenix. Jorgensborg, the set for UCLA now in the rotation. Jorgensborg ran in to the sophomore Heather Cullen. Well, that's going to be a byproduct when you have a lot of young people on the court. They're still learning to play with one another.
Well, I know UCLA is really trying very hard. And being so young, they're very enthusiastic. So, you know, things can get a little bit jumbled up out on the floor.
Outside the Ringel again, and UCLA reads it. Emily Adams, mentioned 6'5", smothering that shot.
Wow, I mean, Brittany Ringel hits it right into the big belly of the block there on that play. Ringel hits hard, but she needs to also recognize when and she needs to keep the ball in play.
SC with a couple of early blocks. UCLA goes to the middle. Now, you don't have size, you go with quickness.
Well, the key for UCLA is just passing. You know, Christy Zartman in the back row, taking as many balls on serve reception as possible so that UCLA can keep their middle hitters involved in the offense.
Brittany Ringel now to serve for UCLA. That's Tracy Lindquist. Remember, both teams run a 6-2, so we're going to see Two setters on either side of the net. 7-4 USC.
I love watching Tracy Lindquist play. I mean, she's such a fireball. She works so hard for her teammates and just has the never say die attitude that I love.
Tracy Lindquist from nearby Huntington Beach, just about 30 or 35 minutes south of the USC campus.
Wasn't she one of your interns at some time?
Long time ago. I've known her for many, many years. And you can see the game face on her. When she's between the lines, she's all business.
Exactly.
But once she steps outside, it's all smiles.
Yeah, very nice, very smart person.
5 serving 7. That's Lindquist with the jump set. It's Emily Adams in the middle, and Adams couldn't turn it into anything good for USC. And look at this, UCLA hanging tough with them. This is the way the first match, and USC won that match 3-0. But game 1 was very close. Game 1 almost always sets the tone for the rest of the night. K.L. Burdine. Cullen tried to drop one into the Campfire defense. Back set by Lindquist. Killian with the left hand. We've been watching Lauren Killian, who's a senior now for 3 years, and Lauren Killian is so smart and so solid and so steady, yet McKaylee says she may be playing her best volleyball ever right now.
It's so true, and we've seen her play outstanding in all of our television broadcasts so far this year. So she's having a great senior season, just the way you want to end up.
A service ace for Emily Adams. She's 4th on the team in aces. In fact, earlier this year against Washington, she had 3 in a single match. She serves Zartman again. And pounding one right back at you, that's Lauren Fendrick. Now, you look at the roster, and Fendrick stands out because she's the only senior playing for UCLA.
Leading the team in kills, Fendrick got so lucky there, sneaking around the horn with only 1 blocker up. That's a huge kill for the Bruins.
SC by 2, that's Killian. And Killian got a great set. Able to gather and elevate.
Interestingly enough, prior to the match, I was talking to Coach Haley, and he was commenting on Lauren Killian's performance. And he said one of the problems in the Stanford match was that they just didn't keep going to her in the clutch situations because she played so well, and in the future to look for her to get more balls when the game's on the line.
At least we know that with Mickey's consistency, because he told me the same thing, because she had 16 kills. Bryn Murphy for UCLA that time. Get the Bruins back within 2. 80% win percentage for McKaylee. Lauren Fendrick, the senior for UCLA. Robinson again. Now, they know Robinson has a hot hand, so they're feeding her. Ringel, who's seen a lot of balls early and finds some open space. Phil Davis couldn't get there. Lauren Fendrick leads UCLA in kills. 16th on the all-time UCLA kill list. Has gone 1,000 career kills and 1,000 career digs.
Wow, it's just amazing. And this year she's had to play being the one that has the big target on her head. In the past preseason, she was always lined up next to Christy Porter, who took a lot of the load offensively, but this has been all Lauren Fendrick this season here for the Bruins.
Bad overpass by USC, and Brittany Ringel just tipped it down, and look at this, it is 10-10. USC number 2 in the country, and UCLA's number 19, and UCLA goes in front.
You're right, 2nd block so far in the match.
UCLA on a 4-0 run right now. Lauren Fendrick, the senior, at the service line. Serves Burdine, who handles it overhand, then quickly to Olsovsky. Olsovsky goes 6-3.
That was a great set there by Tony Anderson. Getting above the ball, above the net to save the ball from going over.
Burdine with a cutter, and it's wide. Nicole Dickin, our up official, and Kevin Cull, our down official tonight.
USC's just lacking a little bit, I think, of excitement out on their side of the floor.
And that is out. It's away from us. I wasn't sure if it caught a portion of the line. Right in front of McKaylee. 12-12, Katie Olsovsky to serve. Jump serve, and a good one. UCLA able to keep it off the floor. SC has gone back to Tony Anderson, the starter at setter. You know, it's funny, with all the rotations, and we're seeing both teams do this with their setters, do the setters have to play similar styles?
Well, it's just, I think that it's all about just chemistry, and you have to have a certain kind of chemistry on your team to be able to work in two setters, because usually it's a one-man job, you know. There's a war in practice of whose team it's going to be, and usually it's just one setter it comes down to.
And the reason I ask is if you're comparing it to, say, football, when a new quarterback comes in during an injury or a change, they do it because they want to change in cadence. They want a different approach to things. They want to spark. But in volleyball, you want to keep that chemistry, as you mentioned. You want to keep it smooth and running along those same lines.
Well, and now it's all about just keeping the sides up at the net. Traditionally, setters are a little bit smaller, so by subbing in the setters, playing them through the back row, it allows for a bigger lineup up at the net.
After UCLA goes on a run, USC comes back on their own 4-0 run, and SC goes in front. It is 15-12 midway through game one.
Set in the dynamic, diverse city of Los Angeles, UCLA is where dreams are realized, ideas are born, and obstacles are overcome. Every day, our faculty and students raise the bar for research and results. Every day, our community extends beyond campus. Every day, the competition feels the heat of Bruin athletics. A sun-drenched campus buzzing with an energy all its own. UCLA. Experience excellence every day.
At 16, a brilliant young artist took to the stage in New York and went on to inspire the world. The Paul Simon Collection. For the first time ever, 19 of his greatest songs on one unforgettable album.
I'm going to Graceland, to Memphis, Tennessee. I'm going to Graceland.
Paul Simon has won more Album of the Year and Record of the Year Grammy Awards than any other artist in history.
Slip sliding away.
The Paul Simon Collection, the essential songs from one of our greatest American poets. The Paul Simon Collection also includes a bonus, limited edition live disc featuring 5 previously unreleased tracks.
Bless you, please, Mrs. Robinson.
To order the Paul Simon Collection, call the number on your screen or send $18.98 for 2 CDs plus $4.95 shipping and handling to the address shown. Call now, rush delivery available. Order now and receive a limited edition print with your paid order.
Just getting started in Westwood. Pac-10 volleyball on Fox Sports Net. Jim Watson along with Angie Simpson, number 2 USC, with a 15-12 lead over number 19 UCLA. Those rankings are consistent throughout the Pac-10. 8 Pac-10 schools in the nation's top 28. And at this point of the season, Angie, almost all of our dialogue leads to the postseason. How many of those 8 literally have a chance to get in?
I think that it could be all 8 of them. I think that it's very important for Cal to close out their season with a couple wins here. Washington needs a couple too. Arizona State on the bubble, but you know, I think that the Pac-10 is so strong this year, and that's known, and it's so respected that it is quite possible to have 8 teams get in.
It's great to see some new faces back in. Washington is back in after a few years down. Washington State, of course, looks good again. And to see Cal all the way up and down. There's no off night in the Pac-10. Service error.
Well, everyone's just been beating up on each other this year, from top to bottom. There really are no weak matches. And talking to assistant USC coach Paula Weishoff, she said that's one of the toughest parts about playing in the Pac-10 conference. It's great because you play great competition, but it's also there's never a lull in the excitement.
Oh, Chrissy Zartman shows why she's so good in that back row, just all over April Ross's kill. Tipped in the middle by Emily Adams, but it's wide and a point to UCLA. Chrissy Zartman leads the team in digs, had 47 total digs in the 2 Oregon matches, leads the Pac-10, almost 4.5 digs per match. And the people around here in Westwood, Michael Sonheimer among them thinks that Chrissy Zartman is the best back row player in UCLA history.
Well, I think that she's just so well respected by everyone that knows about her. I mean, she is an outstanding beach player, such a feisty competitor, and Coach Banikowski says that she's the best all-around volleyball player he has ever coached. And that is saying something after 36 years as the head coach here at UCLA.
Lindquist goes to April Ross. The block caught just a piece of it. It was tipped. Here's Ringel. Couldn't get her steps down. Didn't look real good. UCLA just forced to take it across. Tracy Lindquist now goes to Ross, cross court. And again, Zartman is there. She's unbelievable on the read and react. For confusion, the back row for SC. Ross again. And again, dug by Fendrick. Ringel off the block. A great point for UCLA.
UCLA's new mentality of dig the ball, keep the ball in play, just proved to be effective there. Coach Bianikowski said that the team's just recognizing that they're great defensive players. They're going to keep the ball alive, so if the swing's not there, don't force it, just be patient.
Lindquist, the back set. Emily Adams, a runner. Double block, and Adams was there, and a nice hit by Fendrick. They're going to call a double hit on UCLA. Double hit, so point SC. Women of Troy back up on top by 2. April Ross to the service line.
April Ross serving.
Ross is lethal from the service line. But went right at Fendrick. She didn't have to move. UCLA runs the slide. And Nancy Barbet, the freshman, runs out of space back in the corner. Just missed.
Only her second hitting year of the season. She's been pretty effective so far.
April Ross leads the team in kills, leads the team in aces, second in digs, third in blocks. Pretty good season. Fendrick, with some anger behind it.
It's just so important for Lauren Fendrick as a senior to lead her team and be very dependable. That's a great kill. She's had several huge swings already in the match. And UCLA is just missing a really top-notch server. Chrissy Zartman had a wicked jump serve, but now as a libero, she's not permitted to serve, and which is one of the sacrifices UCLA makes when having her in the back row all the time.
The irony of that service error by Heather Cohen is she actually leads UCLA with 23 aces. Bryn Murphy for UCLA. This is just how the first match and the first game in that match started out. Nip and tuck all the way. USC pulled away at about 19. That's what Banikowski told me before the match. He said, we were right with them till 19, and then they pulled away. Well, here they are right at 19. Lindquist, right in the middle to Olsofsky, and even the crowd groaned because that was just point blank. Nicole Davis with the roll and the save. K.L. Verdine, cutter cross court, covered by Fendrick. Tip in the middle, and a point, Cyril Wright, UCLA. Crystal McFarland with a nice set right up against the tape. Sarah Wright, second on the team in blocks, fifth on the team in kills.
UCLA has won 4 of 5 really long rallies here in the game so far.
The Bruins scrambling on defense again, keep it off the floor. Lindquist, back set to Olsofsky. When Olsofsky, a player of that athletic level and of that size, runs the slide and doesn't have a block in her face, it's tough to stop.
Good night. Good night, sweetheart.
Are we going to get a Spankalicious out of you tonight? Are we going to get one?
Of course.
You know it's my favorite.
Wait for the right one.
It's my favorite. 2018. Game 1, we play the 30 in rally scoring. Olsofsky punches it up. There's Robinson. SC's gone away from her on the rotation. Just for a moment, she was the leader in the early goings of game 1 into the net. Never went across. Point USC. It's 21-18. K.L. Verdine, 16 digs, 11 kills against UCLA in the first meeting. And remember, it was 3 and out. McFarland to Fendrick. Murphy punches it. Wright gets there, and Zartman takes it across. Robinson between the block, and again it's Zartman. Does Zartman get everything in the back row? Olsofsky into the double block, and it falls. Falls on the UCLA side of the net, point SC. And the women of Troy build up a 4-point advantage. Andy Banikowski get a timeout.
Do you remember those incredible groups? Now, bring it all home with the Magnificent Harmony Collection.
What you see is what you get.
You'll get 32 classics.
She used to be my girl.
This is the sound of vocal group magic.
Whenever you call me, I'll be there.
Get the Magnificent Harmony Collection on 2 CDs or cassettes.
Oh, girl,
Plus, use your credit card and get a free bonus album.
Honey, you are my shining star.
That's 3 albums, 44 hits.
Call 1-800-915-8383 to order Magnificent Harmony for just $26.99 plus shipping. Use your credit card to get a free bonus album or send check or money over to the address on your screen or go to timelife.com.
Game 1, USC with a 22-18 lead over UCLA on Fox Sports Net. Well, critics are calling the Best Damn Sports Show period a 2-hour frat party with irreverent skits, insightful interviews, and sharp locker room banter. The Best Damn Sports Show period every weeknight at 8 and 11 and only on Fox Sports Net. April Ross and USC trying to do exactly what they did the first time they met UCLA. That's pull away and take control in game 1. Tony Anderson, the junior, to serve. Leads USC in assists this year. Spending time with Tracy Lindquist at center. That's Ross out of the back row. And Ross went one-on-one with Cyril Wright.
Ross was just on top of that ball. Does such a nice job attacking out of the back row. You can see that she jumps very well, so she lands clearly in front of the 10-foot line, making it almost like a front row attack.
Cyril Wright on the quick back set. And that stops a 4-0 USC run. Bruins back within 4. Fendrick to the service line.
Well, this is Cyril Wright's specialty, going behind the setter. She's very quick and explosive off the ground, so that is the perfect play to utilize her strengths. Robinson
had the luxury of just a single block as Cyril Wright was late coming over. This time Wright is there on time, so she goes down the line and overpowers Crystal McFarland. 3 kills now for Robinson.
Robinson's one of the most dynamic players on USC's team, and she holds nothing back. That's why I was shocked to see her actually tip one earlier in the match, but she's starting to get a little more savvy with her offensive selection.
Service error for USC's K.O. Burdine, so now it goes over to Bryn Murphy and the Bruins. Olszewski had that set go behind her. Ringel turning completely sideways to the net. Burdine, the tip. And Cyril Wright hanging in the air as long as she possibly could. Ugly picnic volleyball going on right now. Ringel, tipped and covered. Nice play by Tony Anderson. Down the line and in. Nicole Davis had to go right over her shoulder, elected to let it go, and it fell in.
UCLA is just playing patiently in these long rallies, and it's proven to be so effective.
Either team hitting especially well. USC hitting just 154 right now, and UCLA hitting 189. Give some credit to the defense.
Yeah, well, I think everybody's just running and gunning right now.
Joust at the net, and you got to figure Cyril Wright can get off the floor further than anybody else in the building.
She has got some mad hops, that's for sure.
Cyril Wright wins that joust. UCLA makes a mini rally, gets back in this. They were down by as many as 4, and now down by just 2.
Good touches. I mean, the defense is scrambling and working, and Cyril Wright goes up strong and just says goodnight there to that overpass.
As we take a look at our national top 10, beginning this week, there were still 2 undefeated teams remaining in the country. And you can see by that right column, there are no more. Stanford went to Hawaii. Remember, we saw Stanford play Arizona. They beat Arizona, came back the next night, beat Arizona State, jumped on a plane, flew to Hawaii. Hawaii was #1 in the nation. They sold out the Stan Sheriff Center. And Stanford went over there and beat the Rainbow Wahinis in 3 straight.
I think they were really ready to go. Talking to Logan Tom last week, I mean, she was really looking forward to the opportunity to get to take Hawaii down, and Logan Tom did have another tremendous weekend. She earned Pac-10 Player of the Week again for the 2nd time in a row.
And a lot of people talking about Nick Haley's group will probably find their way to the NCAA final. Some other people like the way Stanford are playing right now. Those 2 on a collision course to the final. Where do you see the obstacles? Are there any other teams in the country that are playing well right now? Somebody that you tell us to look out for?
I think that USC and Stanford are the top 2 teams in the country, so I just think that anything can happen in the late run of the season, and if you have a bad night, you better hope you're not playing somebody that's ready to go, because when you get to the NCAA tournament, anything can happen, and that's what makes it so exciting.
We've seen a lot more parity in the last couple of years. It used to be dominated by West Coast teams. And of course, I'm sitting next to a graduate of Penn State when I say that.
Well, geez, Cyril Wright just swatted that ball. She hung up in the air.
Austria to serve. A chance for UCLA to catch SC at 24. So SC goes to the All-American April Ross. Now, April Ross, because she's been playing high-caliber volleyball since she was a very young girl, played at Newport Harbor High School down in the Orange County area, one of the top schools in the country. She never gets very excited on the court, just goes about her business, a little bit of a grin.
I think she's just really mellow, low-key competitor. Leads by her performance, not so much by what she says out on the court.
Robinson between the block of Cullen and Wright. Olszewski will go back to the service line. Burdine goes to the USC bench. And Nicole Davis is back in for the women of Troy. UCLA got within one and have a chance to tie. SC now got 2 points in a row. Cyril Wright on the running. Cyril Wright, I'm not going to compare anybody to Christy Porter, but same kind of athlete in that she can just get off the floor.
Very quick and dynamic. Sometimes she's too quick for her own good, but that time she connected very well with that set. Sometimes when she runs those slides, she gets out too early and then is underneath the ball and she swings.
5 kills and 2 blocks now for Cyril Wright. April Ross had to run up on that one. Look at Zartman readjust in the back row. Back set, they fake and go to Robinson. They baited him with Emily Adams, and the block went with it. You know, you get the feeling if you drop your car keys tonight, Chrissy Zartman would catch them before they hit the floor. She's unbelievable.
Well, the thing about her style of volleyball is that it's become a trend for the Bruins. Now UCLA's defense has really picked up just from Chrissy Zartman and the influence she has over her teammates. Defense is now very important. UCLA used to just be a big swinging team. You know, now they're a little bit more grovellers in the backcourt.
Tracy Lindquist, outside, Viviana Candelas, and it's the first time that we've called Candelas' name. Good story. Tell it to you when we get a chance. Ross. Not a lot on that one for Ross, but there was a lot on that block by Emily Adams. Emily Adams is like a double block all by herself.
At 6'5", you know, there's not a lot of opportunity to hit around her if she's set up properly and reading the attacker.
And let's keep in mind, we talked about Truck Robinson before. Well, Emily Adams' dad, Alvin Adams, who also played in the NBA. They've known each other a long time. SC by 4.
This is your chance to be part of the madness. An automatic bid to the big dance is on the line when the men and women of the Pac-10 hit the hardwood. The men's tourney returns to Staples Center in Los Angeles, while the women do battle at the Compact Center in San Jose. Tickets are going fast. The Pac-10 tourney returns next March. For more information, log on to www.pac-10.org or call Ticketmaster at 213-480-3232.
Redefine your body and yourself. Introducing the Bowflex Ultimate. Quite possibly the best home fitness machine ever made. In as little as 20 minutes a day, 3 times a week, you can get real results that can change your entire body. With over 90 health club quality exercises and up to 410 pounds of resistance, it's like having an entire gym in your home. Bowflex is so effective that we guarantee you'll get the results you want in 6 weeks or less. Own the new Bowflex Ultimate with no money down and monthly payments lower than many health club dues. Call and ask for a free video and brochure, and check out the entire Bowflex lineup, or visit us on the web at BowflexUltimate.com today. The new Bowflex for ultimate results.
The drama of your week starts on Monday morning. Who needs to watch it the night before? Yeah! All month long, Fox brings you new episodes of The Simpsons.
Son, you better go to school.
Followed by King of the Hill.
Promise you're not going to squeal like a girl.
And Malcolm in the Middle.
It's so nice to have a boy in the house who's not a rude little monster. Hey, Was that shot at me?
Yes, honey, it was.
Don't miss all new episodes all November only on Fox.
Back inside Poly Pavilion, the UCLA band entertaining a good crowd tonight. They're expecting almost 3,000 here. SC and UCLA in volleyball, and of course SC and UCLA in football coming up in just over a week. SC still has to take care of Arizona State before that one. Tonight, the Battle of the Gauntlet, that's what they call it, the crosstown rivalry between SC and UCLA in all sports. You get points for victories over your arch rival, and UCLA actually leads the Lexus Gauntlet this year 15-5. I think you get 5 points per victory.
I like the name Gauntlet. It's a good competition.
Throw down the gauntlet. Off the block and out. It just gives us a chance to talk about Bibiana Candelas, who's actually a Mexican national, put on the Mexican national team, missed the beginning of the season because she was at the World Championships, and then had to wait for the NCAA to clear her, to give her clearance to play, and she's been eligible for just a couple of weeks now, I guess.
End of October.
There's Candelas right there, took it over herself. Candelas, as I mentioned, is just a freshman and also goes 6'5". So you look at SC's front row, you got Adams at 6'5". You have Candelas at 6'5". I think they average 6'3" across their front line. That average 6'3" across their front line.
With Candelas, it's like you're looking at an international powerhouse there at the USC with that size. It's more of an international level team.
So just like game one across town in the first meeting between these clubs, it was close for a while. USC pulls away and takes game one 30-24.
Popeyes presents young and hungry athletes. They drive different cars, wear different uniforms, and play for different teams. But when these two are hungry, they agree on one thing.
Louisiana mild. New Orleans spicy. Mild spicy. Mild spicy. Mild spicy.
Well, maybe not.
Backed by popular demand, Popeyes Cajun Turkey. Slow roasted to hold in Popeyes Cajun flavor. Order a Cajun Turkey Feast at Popeyes today.
The Comcast Sportsnet Play of the Day sweepstakes is back, and this time the grand prize is a 6-day trip to the Wyndham Nassau Resort and Crystal Palace Casino. Awesome.
Watch Sports Night every night at 10 o'clock for the Play of the Day. Then log on to our website, ComcastSportsnet.com.
We'll be giving out daily prizes along with the grand prize, a trip for 2 to the Bahamas.
I can log on. I'm ready to go. I can win trip to the Bahamas.
We aren't eligible. It's for them. We're employees, so we can't win. Sorry.
Congratulations. Mick Haley is new to volleyball in the Pac-10, just his second season at USC, has 567 career victories, 3-0 against UCLA. But even though he's new to town, he knows just how important it is to beat the Bruins.
Well, this is always a classic. I've only been doing this with USC for 2 years, but every one of these matches has been special. It's been well competed, certainly well supported by fans, and it just has a special significance because you have 2 major universities in one metropolitan area that really take a lot of pride in what they do. So it's always a good match and a lot of fun.
And of course, well, Mick Haley's only been around a couple of years. Andy Banikowski has been one of the co-authors of the history of this rivalry, 36 years. You know, we have to dig in deep and find out what his record is against USC.
I know, I can't think of it right now off the top of my head.
How could you? 36 years? Here's our stats from game one.
Well, certainly USC dominating in the kill department, but everything else is pretty equal. And UCLA has been the one making a couple unforced mistakes that has caused them to lose game one, but serving strong. USC has 2 aces, UCLA with none. UCLA is really missing a strong jump server in their lineup. Most teams have one person they can depend on to throw up the ball and whale away from the service line, and UCLA just more serves to keep it in play.
Team switch side as we begin game 2. That ball hit the tape, carried out of bounds, so point UCLA. Crystal McFarland, a redshirt sophomore, She redshirted last year because Erica Seltzer, of course, was the setter for UCLA. Robinson got turned around, and Robinson got turned around again. I don't think Robinson expected that ball to come back quite so quickly.
Well, Sierra Wright has just dominated the net for the Bruins, so if Robinson's hitting against Sierra Wright, she better be expecting to cover herself a little better.
Osofsky in the middle. Nice set by Tony Anderson. Anderson and Lindquist split time as the setter at USC.
A great set to Katie Osofsky, who's trained as an outside hitter with the national team, so that's why she's got such great ball control for a middle blocker.
Anderson goes to Robinson. Double blocks Sierra Wright along with Bryn Murphy. McFarland back set to Murphy. It was covered by Anderson, but she couldn't control. Robinson can't keep it off the floor. UCLA up 3-1.
Robinson in game one hit very consistently, but throughout the season she's been hot or cold. She's either on or off, and she hits just below 200, which is low, comparatively speaking, to the other Trojan attackers.
Ross just had to tip that one. The ball was well in front of her. Sierra Wright with a slap. There's Ross. Ross with a little top spin lob. She hit it with the heel of her hand. Ringgold off the block. It came right back into the middle of the UCLA defense. Point SC. Osofsky with the block. Her first of the night. Osofsky to serve. Right up against the UCLA fans. Murphy in the middle. That was a heck of a dig by Tony Anderson. Went down with one hand. McFarland keeps it up. Zartman shovels it over. Back set to Ross, and again it's Zartman. Ringgold. Anderson to Ross, and Ross goes wide. No touch. The officials all shake it off. Point UCLA.
I like that double quick attack, though, by USC. That's something new.
Murphy will go to the service line. Lauren Fendrick, the only senior for UCLA. The other senior, Angela Eckmeyer, blew out her ACL November 5th in practice and is done not only for the year, but that ends her UCLA career. A very sad story. One of the great players here. Anderson goes right back to Ross. Double block, it rolls down the tape a second time. SC keeps it alive. K.O. Burdine back row. And covered by Crystal McFarland, and then Cohen, a long way to come. Everybody got out of her way, but she had to come all the way across courts.
I think Bryn Murphy, who was in the middle back position, should have just stepped in and set that ball. It was only a couple feet away, especially after a great dig like that. UCLA has momentum. You know, somebody's got to step in and just call the ball.
Tracy Lindquist to serve for USC. McFarland back set to Cullen. Covered by Zartman. Ringgold. Adams wants it. They go over to Ross instead. And Ross, you're not going to see Ross 2 times in a row make bad hits.
And Ross taking advantage. You call that a 50-50 ball because the set is 50% on one side of the net and 50% on the other. So it's just so easy to pound the ball straight down.
Both teams play a lot of good defense, and it's being reflected on the stat sheet. USC's hitting 182, UCLA 176, and in particular for UCLA, Brittany Ringgold is hitting just 111.
Well, UCLA has struggled offensively all season. They have averaged below 200, while USC is hitting in the 300s for the year.
Sierra Wright will get credit for that point for UCLA. And it is a 5-5 game. Substitutions, Haley Jorgensborg in for UCLA to serve.
Every time Sierra Wright goes through the front row, UCLA makes a little run. So now it's got to be balanced up at the net by the Bruins, working hard in the back row maybe now that Sierra Wright's not up in the front row to maintain equality with the Trojans.
And Sierra Wright leads UCLA with 6 kills.
Emily Adams.
Also has 3 blocks. Emily Adams with that point for USC to push the women of Troy back in front. April Ross to serve. April Ross, 32 aces coming into this match. By far the best on the squad. Ringgold. And Ringgold is starting to try to mix up her shots a little bit, but Emily Adams is 6'5", and that's Emily Adams right there. Emily Adams gives SC a 7-5 advantage. Emily Adams leads the team in hitting percentage at .471. USC has put together a 5-1 run now to go up by 2. Ross to serve. Nancy Barbet is in for UCLA in the middle, got that short set now. There's Ringel down the line. Yeah, Ringel, I mentioned this, was hitting just 111, but she's got Adams 6'5". She's almost always double blocked. Her job is not easy tonight.
No, it isn't, especially when she's in the front row with Barbet, a freshman. You know, she's the one that every team has marked because obviously Ringel's going to get most of the sets.
Gail Verdine is part of that 1-2 punch for USC along with April Ross. Ross and Verdine combined for 7 kills and 6 digs a game. Fendrick, and it just hit the tape. SC never had to touch it. Lauren Fendrick is one senior playing for UCLA, the other senior that's in the room and will never play again for UCLA. Unfortunately, Angela Eckmeyer, who had an ACL injury to the same knee she had in 2000, had it again November 5th in practice, had surgery 2 days later, and it's done. It's finished at UCLA.
She said that it's all hitting her this week because after she got injured, the next day she had her MRI. The following day she had her surgery, so it didn't really hit her, and now it's all soaking in. But she hopes to continue being involved with the sport of volleyball as a coach and hopefully pursuing a career in teaching as well. But after talking to her, it was all I could do just to keep from tearing up because I just felt so bad. That's not a way you want to end your career, but it's just so sad.
Yeah, and Eckmeyer was leading UCLA in solo blocks. That's a big part of their defense, and is now on the bench.
But Eckmeyer said her team has really rallied behind her and keeping her spirits up, and now all she can do is just be there to help out in practice and talk a lot to the younger players.
I mentioned that she had the surgery just 2 days after the injury. Normally they let the swelling go down. She's trying to get ready for a trip to New Zealand. She's taking a pleasure trip to New Zealand and wanted to get the injury behind her as quickly as possible. I see a little confusion on their side of the net. Point Bruins, and it's 8 serving 10. You know, UCLA is a good team this year. They're going to be a great team next year, and I know Andy Vanikowski doesn't even want to talk about next year, but you got to wonder when he's driving home from matches or he's on a bus or a plane, he's got time to think. He's got to wonder, wow, you know, if we all develop the way we should, we could be a great team, a top 5 team next year.
Yeah, and I think that the freshmen coming in can contribute. You know, it's really going to help them out a lot.
Yeah, he likes the recruiting class they have. They have some local talent coming in. They also signed a young lady from Steamboat Springs, Colorado. I know they're very excited about her. She's big, helped them in the front line. April Ross, so right, got both hands on it, but couldn't keep it from hitting the floor. Falls on the UCLA side of the net. So 12-8 USC in game 2. SC won the opener 30-24. Let's serve, and it's one of the new rules the last couple of years. We play on. Perdine got handcuffed as it rolled up on her shoulder.
Well, when you're thinking about Andy Vanikowski possibly looking to next year for, you know, the grass is always greener on the other side, but Mick Haley, what is he thinking right now? I mean, he's just riding this season out for all it's worth. Best record since 1977 for the Trojans.
And when you talk to Mick Haley, he understands that this is a unique group, that they have a legitimate chance to be the national champions this year. And I think that adds a lot of pressure to a coach because people think you should win it.
Well, and the other scary part is they're only losing 2 seniors, Tracy Lindquist and Lauren Killian. They're going to have everybody back.
Good job by Perdine in the back row for SC. Down the line and covered by McFarland. It's going to be right at the tape and pushed down by Alicia Robinson. Mick Haley at Texas for 17 years, couple of national titles, but he's 46-5 at USC. Career, he's won 80%. At USC, he's won over 90% of his matches.
Well, he inherited a great program. Got to give a lot of credit to Jared Elliott, the interim head coach. And now Mick Haley is able to attract the rest of the nation's best. He gets the blue chip freshmen, the people that can step in and contribute, and that's such a luxury.
And remember when Mick Haley came back from the Olympics, he stayed out and let Jared Elliott finish that season. Now it's 59 USC in game 2.
This is your chance to be part of the madness. An automatic bid to the big dance is on the line when the men and women of the Pac-10 hit the hardwood. The men's tourney returns to Staples Center in Los Angeles, while the women do battle at the Compact Center in San Jose. tickets are going fast. The Pac-10 Tourney returns next March. For more information, log on to www.pac-10.org or call Ticketmaster at 213-480-3232.
Bargain Network, the place to find real bargains. Call 1-800-300-4768. Buy cars from bank and government seizures. This car sold $500. IRS, DEA, FBI, repos, impounds, and more. Call 1-800-300-4768. Foreclosed homes and distressed properties are selling for as low as $199 per month. VA, FHA, HUD repos, and more. For current auction listings, call now. 1-800-300-4768. Call toll free.
Workers' compensation insurance carriers have doctors they like to call independent medical examiners. They're independent like a fox in a chicken coop. Don't get eaten alive. Call me before you speak to them.
Barry Glazer, legal advocate for the injured and disabled since 1968.
This is my brother, Omar. Oh, a bullet hit him. I didn't mean to shoot Daddy's gun. I didn't mean to shoot Daddy's gun.
Hello? 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 Hello?
Ever notice how a disconnected telephone just won't work?
Hello?
Yep, you got cut off because you didn't pay the bill.
It's my cousin's fault.
Well, now you can get reconnected for only $49.95 by calling Metro Teleconnect.
Who?
Metro Teleconnect, where there's no credit check, no deposit, and you don't have to pay your old phone bill off.
You lying.
Nope, so call 1-800-695-6955 and get reconnected for $49.95. Then, keep your cousin off the phone.
Mm-hmm.
McKaylee has won 567 career victories, among them a couple of national championships, and USC has been ranked #1 this year, currently #2. People say that they will be in the national title game. McKaylee knows this is a unique group and that they should be there, or at least they could be there. They have that much talent.
Special. I think to win a national championship with this team would be special because of their intense desire to do this, their effort in preparation, all the things that they've done and changed to try to get to this level.
Well, I think one person that the national championship would be most special to would have to be senior Tracy Lindquist.
Katie Olszewski continuing to serve for the Trojans.
59 USC in game 2. After the quick timeout. And Olszewski will put it back in play. Right at Zartman. That's Ringel. Double block again. Ross and Adams. Ross is 6'1", Adams 6'5".
Well, somehow UCLA is going to have to get somebody else involved in the offense. That was just too predictable and too slow to be successful against USC.
4 blocks now for Emily Adams. A one-handed backset by McFarland. Nobody else saw it coming. 4 hits for UCLA. It was a good job by McFarland to keep it off the floor, but I don't know if anybody was ready for it. 17-9 is SC. Enjoys their biggest lead in either game tonight. Zartman again. Ringel and readjust her feet on the approach. Back set. A high good one by Tony Anderson. Anderson this time to KO Burdine out of the back row. That's McFarland. McFarland to Ringel. A one-on-one block against Ross. The set was a little tight. It was easy for Ross.
That was just a stuff, a total clamp by April Ross. It feels good when you get your hands over the net and get a roof like this one here. Straight down.
And good timing by Ross, too. She went right up as that ball came down. He met right at the top of the tape. Bryn Murphy gets stuffed by Alicia Robinson. So it was the USC offense, and now it's the USC defense, and they run to the bench with a 10-point advantage in game 2. 19-9. Even gets the coach up. He's excited. Coaches love defense. SC on a 10-2 run. They lead 19-9.
Enrolling in the Professional Golfers Career College was one of the best decisions we ever made.
PGCC teaches a nationally accredited curriculum that includes a wide range of classroom and course instruction from PGA professionals and visiting guest lecturers. They even offer outstanding job placement for all graduates as well as financial assistance for those who qualify.
After being a junior golfer in Buffalo, New York, I found information on the Professional Golfers Career College in Temecula, California. With the encouragement of my parents, I applied, attended, and graduated, and now I'm the head golf professional at Oak Valley Golf Club in Beaumont, California. After working 7 years in the golf business in the Philadelphia area, I decided to attend the Professional Golfers Career College in Temecula, California. Upon graduation, I took a job at the Lakeside Golf Club. Thanks, PGCC.
You can turn your passion for golf into a career like we did.
PGCC Temecula, California, educating the future leaders in the world of golf. 1-800-877-4380.
Jim Watson and Angie Simpson on Fox Sports Net on campus at UCLA. Lauren Fendrick, the senior leader for UCLA, not only on the court but off, a 2001 first-team all-academic selection, majoring in communications in precogs. I didn't even know what that was until I saw the movie. 3.94 GPA. Not bad.
Not too shabby. Certainly beats my GPA from college.
Our State Farm Scholar Athlete of the Week, Lauren Fendrick. Congratulations. Lisa Robinson shoveling that one up from underneath the net. Chance here for UCLA. I always want to get a point out of the timeout, but Adams gets another block on Ciro Wright that air. 5 blocks now for Adams. They're starting getting ahead of Ciro Wright, I think, a little bit.
Well, USC has dominated the net. And also, they're serving much tougher. They have 3 aces. UCLA has none. Ooh, that was close.
Official was right on it. SC's defense churned back 7 blocks. Just a missed game.
Well, that's just UCLA's offense is getting too predictable and too slow.
And Ringel tipped that ball. I'm not sure that would have gone completely over. But it's a reaction. It's a good play. Anderson to Adams. Farmer with a dig. That's Ringel. Double block against it. She cut. Cross court. Nice cutter.
That was a beach shot right there. A nice little putty. Well, Ringel has come a long way. I think she's going to have a very fine career here at UCLA. Developing all the shots. She's definitely got the power.
Adams is having a great night. 5 kills, 5 blocks, and an ace.
But Brittany Ringel, last year she subbed in for Erica Seltzer just sometimes throughout the front row, so she would just block and hit. Now she's averaging 3.39 kills per game, but still her hitting percentage is below 200. So really to be an All-American, All-Pac-10 type player as an outside attacker, you've got to hit above 250 and be putting away 4 to 5 kills per game.
Nancy Barbet and Haley Jorgensborg back in for UCLA. Jorgensborg, the freshman, with the high school right across the street from UCLA, Marymount. Candelas is back in for USC. Viviana Candelas, who gets credit for that kill. Another freshman, another 6'5" freshman for USC.
April Ross.
April Ross again. USC aces, goes at Zartman. Cullen, slide.
Heather Cullen.
It's a good play for the Bruins. Need to see more out of Cullen, getting some other people involved. And now Barbet, too, in the middle blocking position. Subbing in for the injured Angela Eckmeyer. Getting her feet wet in the Pac-10 competition.
SC back up by 10. And Folly Pavilion has grown very quiet. Sitting on their hands right now, waiting for something to cheer about.
Well, Candela just takes USC to a whole nother level. Both offensively and defensively. She has so much experience, so much height, so much poise.
Heather Cullen to serve for UCLA. And serves April Ross. Isn't that ironic? I'll tell you why in a second. Back set, Bryn Murphy. Heather Cullen for UCLA, the sophomore, played at Newport Harbor High School down in Orange County, along with April Ross of USC. High school teammates, Osofsky. Now, Osofsky, that wasn't an easy set. She had to get up on top of that ball.
Well, the other crosstown connection, too, is Christy Zartman with Kay Alberdine and Tracy Lindquist as they partnered up on the beach this summer, taking on the young international competition.
Kendall's with a service error, so substitutions there. Kendall's back to the bench. Tony Anderson back in. Chrissy Zartman trying to fire up UCLA. Zartman keeping them loose, laughing, telling some jokes. SC, let's keep the sweats on, do 3 and out. Get out of here quickly. USC with a victory tonight against UCLA. Next week against Arizona, a game we will televise crosstown. And then Arizona State, they will be the Pac-10 champions. If they stumble and Stanford wins their 3 remaining, they will share the Pac-10 championship. Fendrick. Julie Mariani was on that ball. She says, it's mine, but I slipped. You could read her lips.
You know,
her back foot went out.
I saw Tracy Lindquist just slip, too, in a couple rallies before. So, yeah, it was somewhere else. So maybe the sweat's dripping off or something, but the sport court does get very slippery.
Robinson cross court covered by Fendrick, but Fendrick puts it into the scorer's table.
Alicia Robinson.
That's one of the pluses, though, for wearing the tall socks like the Trojans are wearing, because you can wipe your feet on your shins so you don't slip around as much.
I do that all the time. Usually in a suit.
Point Bruins.
The nice double quick play works well for UCLA, so they need to continue to pass well, keep all the hitters involved in the offense, because when the offense is predictable and the sets are really high, the Trojan block is so big that it takes UCLA out of the game.
Cross tips to her right, caught a piece of it, and it gets over, and look at April Ross was great on it. A little pinball play. Ross wants to put this point away, and can't do it. Fendrick chases it to the sideline, and Zartman back over. Could be a turning point for UCLA. They faked Olsofsky, and a block by the Bruins.
And I knew Olsofsky coming around the horn there on the slide wanted that set. Free ball plays are so much fun because usually it's a guaranteed point. Over that time, Ringel and Wright were just all over Robinson's attack.
Yeah, they didn't go for the decoy. They didn't go with Olsofsky. Alicia Robinson double block, pulling them off of that block. USC is not a team that's going to get rattled. They play all over the country, and as Mick Haley will tell you, nobody wants to come to our place. No one will schedule us at a conference and come to Los Angeles. They make us come to them, and that's fine. It gets us tougher for the NCAA tournament. But it takes a lot to rattle this team. USC has only lost 1 match all year. That was to Stanford, and that was at home. That was at USC. They beat a lot of ranked teams this year. They beat number 2 Nebraska, number 6 Florida, number 15 Arizona, number 18 Washington State, number 4 Stanford, number 12 Pepperdine, and number 13 UCLA. All those rankings were current rankings at the time they played those teams. For Stanford, now the number 1 team in the nation.
Well, the match that we televised between USC and Stanford was the best volleyball match I've ever seen in my entire life. It was unbelievable.
Tracy Lindquist to serve for USC, trying to put away game 2. UCLA the fans trying to stave off, trying to force it to at least 4 tonight. Dallas, easy read and react for Fendrick. Ringel. UCLA getting angry now, and SC keeps the ball at the floor. Seems great defense on both sides. Ringel, right at Olsofsky. Lindquist in the middle to Adams.
What a thump by Adams, and what a great set by Lindquist. I think that tomahawk dig that she had earlier in the rally propelled her into this great move up at the net. What a sweet play.
When Emily Adams at 6'5" has to high 10 Tracy Lindquist at 5'7", it's a down 10.
We're here today at PB Dye Golf Club in Iamsville, Maryland.
So how's the course playing today?
Excellent so far.
Very well. Great shape.
one of the best shape of any course in this area.
Is there another course this good, this close to the Beltway?
No.
Nope. Most people say, wow, first time to come out.
Do they treat you right here?
They treat us great. That's been terrific. The whole operation is just top-notch.
So you come back and play tomorrow?
And the next day and the next day.
PB Dye Golf Club. Not just great golf, but a great time.
Tisher, quality and value. Tisher, luxury and style. The best name in the business.
The brand new 2003 MDXs are in. And with outstanding inventory and financing, now's the time to buy. See all the 03 Acuras at Tisher Acura in Laurel. Tisher, they won't waste your time.
Tisher brings the world to you. The best name in the business. Tisher.
Back inside Poly Pavilion, inside Nick Haley's USC huddle. Women of Troy up one game and up 28-20. Sundays at 8 o'clock. Beyond the Glory, second season takes you inside the hidden world of sports' biggest stars. Beyond the Glory, presented by Acura, Sundays at 8 o'clock and only on Fox Sports Net. Tracy Lindquist, the senior, 7th second on the team in assists behind Anderson. And Angie told you before that she plays the beach season with UCLA's Chrissy Zartman, their family's longtime friends.
Yeah, they were the youngest team to ever earn their AAA rating out on the beach. Zartman was 13 and Lindquist was 16. They were also the shortest team at the World Beach Volleyball Championship that they won this summer.
Sarah Wright in the middle, and Sarah Wright finally gets the better of Emily Adams in a one-on-one.
Well, things just have to be, all the moons and stars have to be aligned perfectly for that to happen.
Yeah, not taking anything away from Sarah Wright.
But if Adams is set up and predicting well,
big wingspan, 6'5".
you're just not going to hit over her, by her, or through her. She's a very strong blocker, so you have to beat her with speed.
Lindquist had to come a long way for that set. Back set to Cohen, cross court, and wide. Point USC, and that's 29-21, and it's game point USC. USC will actually enjoy 8 game points should they need that many. Ross could end it here. This is Fendrick. She handles it no problem. Cohen, same play they just ran. No touch. It's wide. Point USC, game USC, and USC leads 2-0. Cohen misses just barely down the line. So SC goes into the locker room with thoughts of a very short night. In fact, USC has played only 3 5-game matches all year long, 2 against Stanford, they split those, and 1 against Cal. USC, the number 2 team in the nation, on top, 2 games to none. We come back to Poly. I know we appreciate it.
Definitely.
Heather Ross to serve for USC with a 26-23 lead in Game 3. SC up 2-0. Cohen with the tip. Lindquist gets off the floor and goes to the senior Killian, and now it's 27-23.
She's just jumping really well. I mean, she's up in the air. It seems to be more so than I can remember her.
Yeah, we've been watching her a long time, and as I mentioned earlier, Mick Haley says she's never been playing better, and would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, she's just on fire. She's got her legs, and she's jumping really well.
Fendrick into the net. Like she didn't get her feet set, came down kind of squirrely. 28-23 USC. Fendrick, a senior, could be the last time she ever plays against USC. Barring a tournament appearance where they meet each other somewhere along the line. Could happen.
Could happen.
Because UCLA is kind of a wild card. They're going to go to the tournament. Nobody knows where.
Yeah, and with 8 Pac-10 teams potentially to be in the postseason, chances are you're going to run into somebody you've played before.
Farland, right to Adams, who was just waiting for it. Adams, of course, who started it, who kept the USC rallies going. And Adams puts SC right on the precipice of a sweep here, 29-23.
Precipice.
Got to throw one in.
I love that word.
Gotta flex those 9 years of college. Here's April Ross for the game and for the match. Fendrick and Nicole Davis. It's an overpass. Cohen. It's wide, and USC sweeps as they win 30-24, 30-21, and 30-23. McKaylee says he's trying some new things with his team. He's doing some experimentation, but this is a very good volleyball team right now. They are going to be dangerous in the second season.
Certainly, from top to bottom, the Trojan team is stacked and so consistent and very unpredictable, very fast, very athletic. They have all the components necessary for being a national championship team.
You know, while USC celebrates here in Westwood up in Palo Alto, there's a sigh of disappointment because Stanford needs USC to lose somewhere down the line to get a share, get a piece of the Pac-10 championship. But SC wins to improve to 22-1, 15-1.